Hi and welcome again to Serbia. I'm here in Novi Sad and today I'm going to take you on a walking tour through this beautiful city. Let's check it out. Novi Sad is a beautiful city in the province of Vojvodina in northern Serbia that offers everything for travelers. Plenty of historic sites in the city, a nice European church, a historic European synagogue, amazing views of the Danube, and one of the nicest castles in Europe. It is considered by locals and travelers alike as one of the best places in Serbia to enjoy culture, food, and nature. It is a very walkable city and can easily be explored by foot. What I like most about Novi Sad was the warm atmosphere and the friendly people everywhere. It's a bit off the major tourist maps and has remained one of the very affordable places to visit. If you're looking for good ideas for your next travel, consider putting Novi Sad on your list as it's one of the best places for a Europe trip. With a population of 250,000, Novi Sad is the second largest city in Serbia and the capital of the autonomous province of Vojvodina. It was founded in 1694 when Serb merchants formed a colony across the Danube from the Petrovaradin fortress, a strategic Habsburg military post. In subsequent centuries, it became an important trading, manufacturing and cultural center, and has historically been dubbed the Serbian Athens. Today, it's an important cultural, industrial and financial center in the country. In this Serbia travel video, I will show you my top 10 tips for your visit to Novi Sad. Here's a map of Novi Sad with all the major sightseeing landmarks we will visit. Stick around to the end where we'll show you a bonus tip that you don't want to miss. This video also has chapters, so feel free to jump into the segments you'll find most useful. But let's get right into it. Number 1. Trek Slobode, Freedom Square. Trek Slobode or Freedom Square is the beating heart of Novi Sad and the perfect starting point for any exploration of this beautiful city in Serbia. The square is framed by some of the most impressive buildings in the city center, such as the Neo-Renaissance Town Hall from 1895 and the Neo-Gothic Catholic Cathedral, the luxurious Hotel Vojvodina, which dates back to 1854, and the Name of Mary Church, which we will be taking a closer look at in a moment. Many of the most important political and cultural events in the city's history have taken place here, and until today, Trek Slobode is a major meeting place for locals. It features a large statue of Novi Sad's most renowned 19th century politician, Svetozar Miletić, who was a former mayor of Novi Sad and a constant thorn in the side of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. What I like most about the square are the many park benches that invite to take in the relaxed and joyful atmosphere with street vendors, families, travelers, street musicians and artists all coming together in one place. Number 2. Novi Sad Synagogue. From Freedom Square, let's pass the Town Hall building on the right and Hotel Vojvodina on the left and cross Boulevard Mihaila Pupina to visit my next tip in Novi Sad, the impressive Novi Sad Synagogue. This building is already the fifth version of the synagogue, which dates to the early 1900s, and was designed by the Hungarian Art Nouveau architect Baumhard Lipot. Before its brutal decimation during the Second World War, Novi Sad's Jewish community had more than 4,000 members. Today, it is down to only 400. The synagogue is one of Novi Sad's most impressive buildings, but unfortunately can only be visited from the inside with advanced arrangements or by attending one of the regular concerts held here. It's nevertheless worth seeing, and some info panels provide interesting background on the synagogue's tragic history, which makes it an important symbol of pride and defiance. Number 3. The name of Mary Church. Let's head back to Freedom Square, where we will check out Novi Sad's tallest and most iconic church, the neo-Gothic name of Mary Church. This Roman Catholic church dates back to the late 19th century and was built in only 2 years during the times of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Make sure you check out the colorful spine and impressive stained glass windows, which were designed in Hungary. Number 4. Zmaj Jovina Street. Freedom Square merges into Novi Sad's most beautiful street, the fully pedestrianized Zmaj Jovina Street, named after Novi Sad's most famous 19th century poet, Jovan Jovanović Zmaj. This is where the city is at its most happening. Lined with restaurants, inns, bookshops, boutiques and cafes, the street is always busy with locals and visitors alike. Street vendors sell handmade jewelry, popcorn and ice cream. The street is lined with beautiful stately mansions and townhouses, most dating back to the middle of the 19th century, when Novi Sad was badly damaged during the 1848 revolution against the Austrian Empire. When you go down Zmaj Jovina, make sure to also check out some of the many alleyways to both sides, which hide beautiful interior courtyards with amazing restaurants and quirky workshops and shops. Number 5. Vladičanski Dvor, Bishop's Palace. Going further down Zmaj Jovina, you will eventually get to an imposing palace fronted by the statue of the namesake of the street, Jovan Jovanović Zmaj. The palace building, designed in Serbian Byzantine style, also dates from the second half of the 19th century. What makes it somewhat unique is that the bishop still lives here. That is also the reason why it is not open to the public. The palace is the work of the Serbian architect Vladimir Nikolić, but due to Nikolić's worries about public perception at the time, the project was attributed to the Hungarian architect Franz Reichler, which we also have come across in my video on Subotica, which you should check out if you haven't seen it yet. Number 6. St. George's Cathedral. Go past the Bishop's Palace and make a slight left and you will stand in front of Novi Sad's main Orthodox church, St. George's Cathedral. The church exterior does not give away that it is an Orthodox church, as it is designed in kind of a Baroque revival style that also dates back to the post-1848 revolution times. It is a beautiful church and definitely worth checking out when you are in Novi Sad. Number 7. Museum of Vojvodina in Dunavska Street. From St. George's Cathedral, I'm going to take the street past the Bishop's Palace and some impressive murals to Trg Republike with a massive statue of King Peter I. If you cross the Republic Square, you will get to Novi Sad's only open market, which I'm sure is worth seeing when it's open. Unfortunately, it was closed during the time I was there. From there, we will take a right, which takes us to Dunavska Street. Dunavska Street is home of the Museum of Vojvodina, a museum in a stuccoed 19th century palace that documents 8,000 years of life in the Vojvodina province. Right next to it, you will find the Museum of Contemporary Art, which for some reason showcases several tanks and military equipment just next to it. I have to admit that I still have to get used to the idea of tanks becoming part of a children's playground, which I've seen being the case in several countries in Eastern Europe. Number 8. Dunavski Park, the Danube Park. Opposite the museum, you can enter the beautiful Dunavski Park, or Danube Park in English. The city's favorite park was landscaped in 1895, where Novi Sad's annual fair used to take place. It's a lovely green space with a pond and a multitude of tree species like birches, hazelnut, willows, an ancient English oak, and multiple colorful flower beads. Some nice sculptures such as the nymph sculpture by George Jovanovic and the statue of the 19th century poet Joa Jakčić complete the relaxed atmosphere of this small but beautiful green oasis. Number 9. Danube Promenade in Štrand. Exiting on the other side of the park at the busy boulevard Mihaila Pupina, we head to the Danube, which is very close by. From here you can already see the Vladičanski most, the Varadin bridge, which leads to the beautiful Petrovaradin fortress, which I will talk about in a moment. But first we will turn right and go for a walk along the Danube. I'm now taking the riverside promenade, and that will take me to Novi Sad's very own beach. Let's check that out. The walk pretty much connects two bridges across the Danube, and it's a 25-minute walk approximately between those two bridges along the Danube. Very beautiful and quiet so far, which I like. My destination is the Štrand, Novi Sad's sandy beach on the Danube, which on a sunny day is a preferred hangout for locals. The park behind has a mini golf course, a string of restaurants and bars, several playgrounds for kids, and sports and fitness facilities. It was closed when I was there, since the weather wasn't that great. But here's some aerial footage of the Štrand and the Danube anyway. Novi Sad is a very walkable city, and from the city center to the castle, it's just about a 15 to 20 minute walk, and you cross that bridge here and you get over here to the castle. Number 10. Petrovaradin Fortress and Clock Tower. Let's head to another major highlight of any visit of Novi Sad, the Petrovaradin Fortress with its famous clock tower. It is by far the most visited tourist attraction in Novi Sad and situated right across the Danube. It's still walking distance, and you just have to cross Varadin Bridge and take the beautiful walk along historic alleys up the hill to get there. The walk up the castle is a very easy hike, but you may want to get some good shoes because it's cobblestone streets up there, and they can get a little bit slippery, especially if it has been raining. The imposing Petrovaradin fortress dates back to 1682, when the Habsburg Austrians built a bulwark against the Ottomans on the strategic location at the Danube. The dimensions of the fortress are massive, and most of the structures are original and date back to this time. This includes several layers of angular ramparts and a system of catacombs and anti-siege channels that are underground. But due to the Great Turkish War that went on for most of the 18th century, work was only completed 100 years later in 1780. Today, the fortress is a major tourist landmark in Serbia and also known as the location of the famous Exit Music Festival that takes place every summer in Novi Sad. Once inside the fortress, you can take a tour of the tunnels, visit the History Museum and restaurants in the Citadel, or head directly to the famous so-called drunk clock, which has the large hand swap for the small one. This was done so that the fishermen below on the Danube would be able to tell the time from further away. From here, you will get some of the best views of Novi Sad and the Danube, and it's a must-see. My favorite time to come here was during sunset. Check this out. So these are my top 10 things to see in Novi Sad. But as promised, I have a bonus tip for you, which is just a short trip away from Novi Sad. We're going to head to the small historic town of Sremski, Karlovci. Sremski Karlovci is also often described as one of the most beautiful towns of Serbia and is definitely a must-see when you come to Novi Sad. Wrapped in vineyards, Sremski Karlovci is a compact old town which can easily be explored on foot. It features impressive churches, halls and palaces that survived the 1848 war, unlike many of the buildings in Novi Sad. But Sremski Karlovci is perhaps most famous for its cultural institutions, many of which laid important foundations for Serbia's identity. The town became a center for learning in the late 18th century when Serbia's first gymnasium, the grammar school, was established here. Important cultural icons like the poet Branko Radičević were educated here, and the library has one of the greatest archives of the Serbian written word in the world. It's a beautiful place to stroll through on a sunny day. Alright, with this beautiful view of the Danube, I'm going to say goodbye for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And if you haven't done so yet, please also subscribe to my channel, and I hope I see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.